What's up, guys? Peter Valley. We're going to do a new series here. I'm launching it today with this video. We're going to call it Facebook Group Fridays or Forum Fridays. I don't even know. I don't even know if I'm ever going to do this again. But here's how it's going to go. I'm going to take you inside Amazon selling Facebook groups and basically make fun of people. Maybe we'll learn some new stuff. We're going to have fun with it. So you're going to get 5 things in every single video. Okay, so here's how I think the format's going to go. I'm going to pick 5 Facebook group posts for every single video I do in the series. I'm going to pick one Facebook post to give you some very specific profitable advice you can put into practice immediately with your Amazon selling business. That's number 1. I'm going to pick another Facebook group post where I essentially just stir up drama. Like, it might involve making fun of people. It might involve saying things I shouldn't say. I'm just basically going to showcase my terrible social skills and just stir up pointless drama. Okay, that's part 2. Part 3, I'm going to go on a crazed, unhinged rant. Inevitably, I see something in every single Facebook group I go into that makes me just completely go bonkers insane. And I'm just going to go on a crazed rant. But there'll be some educational value as well. In a 4th Facebook post, I'm actually going to give you life lessons. I know it's kind of weird. I'm going to give you life lessons disguised as Amazon business lessons. So you're going to get more education, but they're just going to kind of be bigger and more philosophical. And then lastly, what I think is going to be the most popular part of this series, I'm going to take a Facebook group post that has a screenshot from a scanning app that has all the data, and I'm going to tell you would I buy this book or would I pass on it based on the data that I see in the app, and I'll tell you exactly why. So this Facebook group post series, it's going to have something for everybody. There's going to be drama, there's going to be education, there's going to be laughs, there's going to be everything in between. I look forward to this. Hopefully this will be one of many, so let's get into it. This person is asking ScoutIQ or Scoutly. Well, a lot of you know how I feel about this. I cannot for the life of me understand how anyone is using ScoutIQ at this point, or ever, literally ever, but especially now. You don't even have to have compared the two to know that ScoutIQ is inferior. There's just so much weirdness around. It's like a toxic scene. So yeah, this should be settled at this point. Scoutly is by far the superior app. And the way to look at it is basically this. ScoutIQ was adept for a small window in history at convincing newer sellers who didn't know better that their tool is superior, just through like the flashy marketing and getting like the affiliates, like the gurus or whatever, to shout it out. Like, that's what they did. Everyone I know that started with ScoutIQ that actually stayed with the business and actually became like a serious seller switched to Scoutly, like I think 100%. ScoutIQ is essentially like a tool for newer sellers who don't know there's other options. The most brilliant take on ScoutIQ versus Scoutly that I heard, I wish I could remember the name of this person to give them credit, but somebody posted in a Facebook group the other day. In fact, I'm probably going to find it after this, so I'm going to splice it in. Actually, let me do that right now. Okay, it took me a minute, but I found it. Here it is. This is the best take on ScoutIQ versus Scoutly I have ever heard. Anthony, he says, ScoutIQ users ask questions and Scoutly users answer those questions. ScoutIQ markets to new users. Brilliant. What that means is, if you're confused, Scoutly users are experienced real sellers. I shouldn't say real, but like more experienced sellers that know the way around the business. ScoutIQ users are the beginners, which is fine. Of course, it's fine to be a beginner. And no one should be shamed for asking a question. That's not the point of this. But the point is, they're the ones, you can tell that it's always ScoutIQ users that are asking the newbie questions. The Scoutly users are the ones answering those questions because they're the ones with experience. Personally, I think it's always smart to kind of follow the lead of people who are successful. If they are where I want to be, I want to do what they're doing. And the experienced guys, the people that are selling the most, tend to be using Scoutly. And there you go. I was at a book sale the other day, and I was like, I don't really talk to sellers when I see them. I don't really talk to sellers when I see them, but I always look over their shoulders to kind of see what app they're using or whatever. And yeah, the people that were like, you could just tell they were professionals. Like, one, they had a lot of books, but they were also just the way they moved and the quality of the books. And they had like, some people had like multiple shopping carts. They're like strapping together. It's super crazy. Those are the ones that were using Scoutly. And I saw one guy using ScoutIQ, and he was just kind of like by himself, didn't really have a lot of books. Like, you could tell the way he was moving, he just wasn't really like confident, which again is fine. But again, if you're using ScoutIQ, it's not that it's better for newer sellers, it's just they don't know any better. Next up, I'll confess I skimmed this before I hit record on the camera here because it's a really long one. But basically what this person is saying is, well, I'll just kind of read it out loud at the beginning. He says, I probably going to get a lot of shit for this. Forgive my language. Just go easy on me. I've been selling for a while, like over a year, blah, blah, blah. He goes on to say that he understands that he has to shoot for the buy box to get sales on Amazon, and he can't seem to get it. He can't seem to figure out if he has the buy box, if he doesn't. His sales are to standstill because he doesn't know if he has the buy box. And he's just a lot of confusion around, do I have the buy box? Do I not? How do I get it? Should have read FBA Mastery. You guys, you could have avoided thousands of sellers, could have avoided thousands of years of torment and agony and tears if they have just read FBA Mastery. I've got an article called Why Amazon Sellers Should Ignore the Buy Box. Obviously massively controversial, but this is exactly the person that I wrote this article for. Chasing the buy, you got to read the article. Chasing the buy box is a fool's game. It's like grabbing Jello. You can never really get it. You might get it for a minute and it goes to somebody else. Or you've got it in Georgia, but Amazon shoppers in Alabama don't see you in the buy box. It's a complete illusion. You're chasing ghosts. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. This person's doing everything right, and they're like, why don't I have the buy box? And they're not getting sales. What they're doing is they're pricing against the buy box. Maybe they're getting the buy box a little bit of the time in some parts of the country. Because if you don't know, you have the buy box one place, you don't have it somewhere else. This is what the gurus don't tell you, right? So you've got the buy box a tiny percentage of the time in a tiny part of the country, and everywhere else and every other point in history, you don't have the buy box. And so therefore you're pricing against the buy box, which is usually not the most appetizing offer. It's possibly well above the lowest FBA offer or merge fulfill, whatever your fulfillment model is. And so no one's seeing your offers. So the buy box people aren't seeing your offers. No one else is seeing your offers because you're priced too high. And it's just a complete, absolute fool's game. I swear on everything this buy box thing is like a giant prank being pulled on the Amazon selling community. Now, I'm kind of overstating it a little bit. If you have the buy box and you have it consistently and you have it a lot of places, that will boost your sales. But again, you cannot engineer that scenario. It is impossible. I don't care what anyone tells you. There's some secret formula they know to win the buy. It's such a cruel joke that's being played on us. And this guy, it's like, when you read this post, it's kind of heartbreaking. He's like, I thought I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Why isn't it working? And honestly, I didn't really read even 80% of this, so I'm possibly misrepresenting his sentiment here or his position here. But I never get straight, understandable answers from anyone. For a while, I was pricing my inventory by the used offers under the used tab, but I noticed every single listing is $5. How do I check my pricing? Okay, so he's got two problems here. He's chasing the buy box, and he's not an FBA seller. That's another problem. I don't know how he expects to get the buy box if he's not an FBA seller. I mean, you don't have to be, but it's your odds aren't good if you're not. Anyway, buy box, you guys, it's led to more. It's kind of like high school romance. It's led to much more pain than pleasure. Okay, great question here from Lisa. It says, talk to me about listing used loose leaf textbooks that are in 3-ring binders. I've tended to sell those on eBay. It looks like Amazon has many used listed. Okay, so here's what you do. I don't think I've ever talked about this. So if you got a loose leaf loose leaf textbook in a binder, a couple things you can do. First of all, what I like to do is take the cover out, the actual cover of the book, and put it in the slip cover of the actual binder. So that when a customer pulls it out of the package, pulls it out of the envelope, they see the binder and actual cover of the book on the front of the binder. I think it makes it look more legit. If you've got a loose leaf textbook that came, you sourced it already in a binder. A lot of times they don't come that way, particularly if you're doing online arbitrage. They're not going to come that way. So oftentimes. So there's a few things you can do here. So again, binder is probably always the best. Number 2, you could use some combination or one of these 3 things if you don't have a binder. You could also go to a thrift store and just get a ton of binders just for this purpose. But if you don't have a binder, alligator clips is one option. Rubber bands is another option, and poly bags is the third option. But the idea here is you want to make sure everything stays obviously intact, right? Loose leaf textbook is exactly that. It's just a stack of pages that are meant to be bound one way or another. They're really actually meant to be put in binders. So first thing you want to do, of course, is make sure all the pages are there. Once you've confirmed that, put it in a binder. You can use alligator clips again. You can use rubber bands again, or you can use poly bags also. Any one of those three options is good. Alligator clips gets a little bit messy. There's room for, you might want to use a combination of rubber bands and alligator clips if you're going to go that route. Poly bags also work great. You just put the FBA label. If you're an FBA seller, put the FBA label on the outside of the poly bag. That works fine. It's probably the best option other than a binder. And actually, I really don't like to send binders, loose leaf textbooks and binders, if the cover of the book, I can't make it the cover of the binder. If the cover's missing or whatever, I don't like it. I think it's weird if a customer pulls, like I've taken loose leaf textbooks out of binders before if the actual cover art, I couldn't make it part of the binder. So that's just my personal thing. I'm not necessarily going to say you should follow that or not, but I think customers might be upset about that. So that's it. That's how you handle loose leaf textbooks. Okay, here's a post that makes me simultaneously weep and celebrate at the exact same time. This post is from Travis. He says, sorry, newbie question. What do we do here? And he proceeds to post a screenshot from Scoutly that shows a book that I would not hesitate. I wouldn't spend half a second looking at this app before I threw it into my cart or ran up to the register or ran out of the sale or made sure it was in my possession. I would have to own this book, and I wouldn't spend more than half a second looking at this. So I understand there's lots of confusion if a lot of people just never really learned or don't know, and he's a newbie, so it's understandable, but like don't know how to read scanning app data. And I can't see anything about this that wouldn't make me absolutely salivate. So here's what it is. So again, sales rank in range of 3 million, only one copy per sale. Sales score, which means it sold once in the last 180 days. So anyway, the rank isn't amazing, but it's not prohibitively bad at all. And there's only one copy per sale. You guys, when you find a book that has almost no competing offers, like in this case, only one, especially when it's selling for, when it's priced at $250, that doesn't mean, of course, it does not mean you're going to get $241 for this book. That's not what it means at all. You have no idea. When a book is poorly ranked, lots of things can happen. The prices can fluctuate. This would be a book where I would actually take a look at the pricing history. But I don't think anything I saw would cause me to not buy this book. And the reason I say all this is if you've only got one competing offer, you don't have multiple competing offers to force the price down. That means there's low supply. Anytime there's low supply of a book, but the demand has been demonstrated as seen here in the average sales rank, that's a home run. Because even if the price tanks, first of all, it's probably not going to tank that much. Like, it's probably not going to go from $240 to like $5. So the chance of you losing money in this book are very, very small. But again, there's low supply. That's always a good thing. Okay, so this one's not a rant at all. It's just it's something to make me think of another thing. So this person said, one of my goals has been to sell at least one thing every single day, and I've passed 30 days now. So first of all, awesome. Like having goals and like quantifiable goals, measurable goals, amazing. So awesome for you. Here's my thought about this. If you have to set a goal, it should always be something that's very, very, very much in your control. So you really don't have a ton of control over how much you sell. All you can really focus on is how much you source. So I don't know what this person's selling, but if I was going to have a goal, it would be like, I'm going to source X number of units of inventory every single week. Now, you might just say, I don't have any control over that. Well, you kind of do, because you could just work harder or dig deeper in the crates or like whatever you have to do, like drive further, like whatever you have to do, like you do have control over that. So personally, that would be like anytime I'm going to set all my goals are sourcing related. They're not really sales related because I can't, that's the one thing I can't control. So you guys, I had a lot of fun with this. Let's do more of these. So right now, you've got a 3-part mission. Are you ready? Mission number 1, subscribe to the YouTube channel immediately. Mission number 2, head over to fbamaster.com, get all the free stuff you see here. Link is below this video. Mission number 3, take what you learned in this video and go make money with it. Thank you guys so much. This is Peter Valley signing off, and I'll see you in the next video.